We are live. We are ready to play today. Wrapping up Introduction to Ukulele Week 6. And we are going to be playing the key of F arpeggio today. And it's going to be tough. It's kind of one of those last things that we have to do to make sure we got all the last bits of skills in place that we want to have before shipping you off to um, advanced, whatever that means, ukulele. And so we're gonna get you in here, sit you down, play a little music, and it's gonna be great. It's 12:02, so we'll start in about 3 minutes. If you're watching the pre or replay, just go ahead and fast forward. Otherwise, Valerie and I will have a lovely chat while we're waiting for everybody to load in. She just goes directly into YouTube. She doesn't waste her time with no stinking Jolly Roger. All of our music is posted at jollyrogerukulele.com, and that's a site that's been growing and growing like crazy the last few months, and unlikely to change anytime soon. Looks like we're on lockdown for a while. Well, unless you're in Florida, in which case it's like, well, yeah, we'll just live our lives. Sounding good. Valerie says that the says the microphones are working correctly. There's a microphone down here. I got a microphone up there. They're good microphones too, so they should sound positively delightful. Let's get my page turner machine going. And here we go. It's 12:03. We'll wait a couple more minutes, let everybody get loaded in. And this week is our final week of it's week 6. So this is the last week of true intro. So we have Daisy Bell yesterday, key of F arpeggio today. That's the hardest of the 3 that the intro people deal with. Tomorrow, Aloha A, I think is how I'm supposed to pronounce that. It's not particularly hard, but getting it where it sounds like you're from Hawaii is. And then on Thursday, we have Scarborough Fair, which is, of course, a world classic, and everybody wants to be able to play that on ukulele. Problem is, it's kind of hard, and so it's a nice exit point. And then that's the end of week 6. Friday, we'll have our usual concert. And with those 4 or 5, well, there's 4 songs plus the our Better Bar worksheet, so 5 pieces of music altogether. Starting next week, we will start over on the intro stuff, so we'll go all the way back to Frere Jacques, but we will also be adding in a second level piece. And I think, as I'm going to look through here, I don't know if I'm just going to go straight down the list or not. After the Ball is Beautiful, America is a little bit of too much patriotism right off the bat, so it may not be able to just go straight down the list. But I think we'll be tossing in probably a more advanced tune each day, or every other day maybe. And yeah, I got almost all of them done, so we might as well do plenty of them, right? So that will make those of you who are newer crazy, because you won't be able to play everything right off the bat, and it'll make those who've been around a while be like, oh, thank goodness we have something to play. So that's what I think I'm going to do. Let's see. Melissa's in. Hey, Melissa. Lynn is in from Cloudy, New Jersey. Cloudy. Oh, my gosh. We could use a cloud out here in the West. We've been having our tough go things. Bridge is here. Brigitta is here. Brigitta, tell me about this thing going on in Florida. Apparently they decided they've just had enough where everybody's going to fend for themselves, huh? Going to go Brazil on Florida down there. I was watching it last night, and of course they go to some bar on a beach somewhere, and the place is going crazy, and everybody's in their swimsuits, and it looks like a lot of fun. It also looks wildly, incredibly dangerous. So we're probably going to have to put a fence around Florida. Oh gosh, crazy times we're living in. Will you have holiday music for the intro level? That's a good question. That's a good question, Lynn. there's about 6 true beginner holiday tunes. Yeah, about 6 of them. Um, Silver Bells, Silent Night, First Noel, Up on the Housetop, O Tannenbaum. What am I missing? There's one other one that's fairly straightforward. Um, and so, yeah, I'll probably mix those in at intro level, but we'll probably also be doing them at next level too. Holiday music is interesting because honestly, the modern stuff is very hard to play and it's very challenging to get it out of an ukulele correctly. And the old stuff, everybody's like, I don't know if I want to do that song. So, yeah. um, but yeah, we'll add some into the intro level. That's a good idea. Nancy says, "Not me here in Florida, hiding in the house with my uke." That's the correct answer. we have some here in Colorado. It's definitely not a safe place by any means. But boy, they're sure not letting them stay at the bar all night long and do whatever they want around here. You still got to wear a mask everywhere. You got to. They close the bars early. Because apparently you can't get COVID during the day, but you can at night. I don't understand how that works. So we're not really here to talk about too much of that stuff. Evelyn is here, ready for some more music. Yep. And Lynn says it's a nice mountain and nice selection. Yeah, right. Good. So we want the intro level. So at the end on Friday, of course, we'll talk about your next steps. The intro level is challenging, guys, and I do want you to know that if you're I hope that I never send you the message that any of this is easy or easy, like all right, you'll get it. All of this is requiring a lot of work. It doesn't take me that much effort to teach you somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. I don't even remember the chords, but it doesn't take me that much to teach you that, and you're instantly successful and everybody's happy. The problem is it doesn't have a much of a future for most people. Most people are like, okay, I played the 4 songs that I wanted to play on ukulele, and that's it. And then that ukulele ends up in a closet for about 6 years, and then somebody tries to bring it down to me and have me buy it for the shop. What you guys are working on is a different activity, which is a lifelong skill of taking the melody, combining it with the chords, putting those together in multiple different ways, and possibly in multiple different playing scenarios. So sometimes a solo, sometimes a duet, sometimes an ensemble. And so what we're working on here, while we don't study the sheet music in very much detail, we absolutely go through the tablature, which is the same thing as sheet music in many ways. And so you're really getting what amounts to a pretty high level education and hopefully giving you a skill that will never come to an end. It's like you don't do 4 crossword puzzles and then you're like, oh, okay, I know how to do crossword puzzles now, and you don't ever do one again. You do one every day because it's every day that same set of skills, but every day there's a new problem to be solved. And the way we play ukulele is the same way. So please know that this is challenging. If you are like, yep, I got this, I would be surprised. I very rarely get that. I do get a few people who've had some music training, and especially guitar players who've learned to read tablature in the past. They usually pick it up pretty quickly. But for most of us, this is a bit of a struggle, and you've got to play through them a lot of times, a lot of different pieces of music until you see 0, 0, 1, 2, 2. Well, that's really 2, 2, 1, 0, and that's a D minor, and it's going to just pop up, and it's going to be fine, right? But it takes a few reps before you can actually get it to just happen in your head. So, please know, I definitely want to make sure you guys know that this is challenging. It's challenging on purpose. I've made a 20-year commitment to this instrument because of that challenge, and so yeah, I get it. We don't know how all that works out either. Bridget is like, I don't know how it works out, but I sure like going down to the beach and partying. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work out, but who knows, Bridge? Let's see. Hello, Donna. Welcome in, Nancy. Oh, well, the cockroach song was complicated. Dun, 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 dun. Second time through, you won't be lost. Okay, I promise. Well, you might be a little bit. It's a funny song. Key of F major. Let's talk about this. You're on your third and final arpeggio. Arpeggio is taking the chord and dividing it into its parts. Okay, so when we teach you F, usually in the first week of the class, that's an F, right? And then after a very short amount of time, I say, now there's this, but you could also take this finger, making sure your fingernail is sort of pointed toward the ground, and do that. And the cool part about that is then when you come back up, you can use the pad of your finger, and you can play an F chord. Okay, that's a different way of making the same exact thing. Then I teach you, okay, now so you got that down, thumb down, index finger up and down. What about if we took 4 fingers, assign them to 4 strings, and pluck them all? Okay, claw is what I call that. A lot of people call it the claw. Okay, there's that. And then I say, well, you got all 4 fingers on here. Why don't we use them for something? Let's divide the chord up into its parts. So then you've got thumb, index, middle, and ring. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're playing an F arpeggio. Now we haven't changed anything with our left hand, but we've gotten lots of different ways of playing the same thing on this side, and that's what we want, because with each piece of music, coming up with a great texture and a great tonality for it is that's the artistic process we go through as musicians. Is, well, here's the song. What am I going to do with it to make it special? And that most of that's going to come from your right hand. The other things that are fascinating, once you get even to this level, there's still more to be done. Does it make more sense to play here where the body and the neck come together? Very beautiful. Or down above the hole, or down up next to the bridge. All of those are going to result in very different flavors and very different feelings. You can do arpeggio picking. Kind of get a tin can sound. You got this one here, which is sort of be louder probably. And I've got it up here with nice and soft and pretty. All the same thing. Now you've got lots of different choices with this. And so when we talk arpeggios, what we're really doing is taking your claw and getting your fingers to operate independently of one another. So sometimes we go down, sometimes we go up, sometimes we go outsides and insides, sometimes we go odds and evens. And the sooner that you get through my entire arpeggio book, the sooner you will be in complete command of all of those possibilities and a whole bunch more too. Sometimes we don't use all of the strings. Maybe we just use the bottom 3 or the top 3. And they have of course, still all an F chord. Everything's an F chord. Just lots and lots of choices with that. Need to get your tab reading more automatic. Yeah, tab reading does become automatic, guys. When I sit down with a piece of tab, if I haven't played it in a long time, honestly, I can absolutely just read through it now. But it didn't happen in the beginning, I'll tell you that, right? And it does become automatic, but you have to keep up. You keep showing up here. Sometimes you play easier stuff, sometimes you play harder stuff. But if you'll keep showing up, I promise, tab reading will become automatic. B flat will go away as a problem, but you'll always have some other problem in every piece of music. This piece of music, you know how to do almost everything on here, but there'll still be other things that present you a challenge here. Okay, so talk a lot about F chord. My book, the Arpeggio book, is really, really designed to get you to master the ukulele. And in order to master it, we have to do 2 things. One, we have to get you real comfortable with the fretboard, which everybody has to get there. But more importantly, we have to get you real comfortable with every possible scenario that your right hand could face. And by doing that, there's nothing that's there. You have a full artistic bag of choices when you get to a real piece of music. So if you go and you take Farmer in the Dell and this F chord, and you're like, all right, now what am I going to do with Farmer in the Dell? You have all of your tools in place. You lay them out on the table, and you're saying, here's all of the things I'm going to do in this piece of music. And I have a piece that we will work on eventually in this group, Frère Jacques douloureux, which means Frère Jacques painfully, douloureux, I think is how you pronounce it, where I took through the kitchen sink of Frere Jacques, right? Which is the very first song you learn. And you're like, I don't know if it seems like that's that important. Well, yeah, it is, because we're going to have a whole bunch of tools we're going to add into it. Then when we round about and come back to this piece of music, we can really turn it into something that makes it sound super fancy. Sounding fancy is one thing. Being able just to play beautifully and connect with an audience and all that stuff, that's the other area that we just keep working on. And you don't have to play complicated stuff to play something meaningful. You can take Brahms' Lullaby, and if you can put a baby to sleep to get with it, or make somebody want to have a baby so that they can put it to sleep, then you've really brought yourself into a different environment altogether. And so encouraging that artistry is what we are always talking about, is your real goal. My goal is to give you the tools to become that artist. Now, you've got your F chord. Let's start working through this as we would any piece of music. You've got your claw on, because you see there's no glissando on here. And so, out of my book, anything in the arpeggio book, I'm going to want you to do claw style. So F chord, we pluck all four. And then you're going to go thumb, index, middle, 2, 0, 1, and then 2 claws. And those are half notes. Notice that the standard notation, there's holes in the notes, which makes them twice as long. Next thing, to get to D minor, remember you're holding your F chord, so you're just adding on your ring finger. Don't take this off and then put everybody back on. Just add your ring finger on to get to D minor. Same pattern as the F chord was. Play it. Twice. Now, we've talked about B flat plenty now, so my preference is you do a full bar and the A shape in front, but if you do a half bar with the A shape in front, that works on this one. Play it. And by the way, if you played this, that counts. It's okay. That will go away. It will get better, I promise. Now, major 7, you have a C chord, but it's the fancy C chord. So don't lift off your B flat. Just slide it forward 2 frets. Okay? So now you're on the 3rd fret, A shape in front. Let's play, and it's the same pattern. Do that. Now, the next part of the song uses exactly the same chords. The only difference is that instead of going thumb, index, middle, we're now going to go middle, index, thumb. Okay? From measure 9, we're going to play all the way through to measure 16, and then things are going to fall apart. Okay? So from measure 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. Add your ring finger, middle, index, thumb, B flat, middle, index, thumb, slide up to the 3rd fret, now, don't take your chord off here, just leave it on here for a second, okay? We've already slid it from 1 to 3. Now, measure 17, you're going to slide the bar up to 5, and you're just going to lift up your middle finger. Don't let it run off. Keep it in the neighborhood. Okay, but you're now on bar 5, fret 5. Ring finger ends up on 7. We're going to pluck 4 beats of that. Go. Now put your middle finger, 2nd string, 6th fret. Okay, so your F shape on 5 is what we're doing. Play those 4 times. That's also a B flat. Take your middle finger off to play the D minor. Put your B flat back on. Take your middle finger off. Put it back on. Now, when you go to page 2, don't take this off. Just slide it back to 3 and move your middle finger up to the 3rd string. Okay, you're back to that C shape. Let's do that 4 times. And then finally, got through the bar chord section. So this will end up being harder than you think. Get your F chord on. You're going to abandon the claw and go to thumb playing and get these two beautiful glissandos in here. Now you have some melody, so you're already holding the 1 down. Just leave it down. 3, 0, 1, 1, 3, 1. 2, 2, 1, 0. Nice glissando here in C7. And go 1, 1, 3, 0. Got a B flat shape here. 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, and then go to the C7 shape. O, 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 and then back to your claw here. There's no glissandos on those, so you're going to go to your pluck, get your F chord on. That's probably a hard move as well to get back into claw position in proper timing. And then 4 beats of that. Then we're going to go back to page 1 and repeat every single thing that we just played. So this song is basically played to measure 32. Go back, play the whole darn thing again. Okay? The second time we come around, we actually do play 32. Usually I have a first and second ending, but in this case I don't. So we play 32, and then now let's go on to 33. You're still holding your F chord, and now we're playing the top 3 strings. Play that. 2, 0, 1, 0 again. 2, 0, 1, 0. Now make your D minor. Just add your ring finger on. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. Now make a B flat. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2. Go to 39. Make a C chord. You don't really have to, but it will sound better if you grab your C chord. 4 zeros, 4 pluck, and now you're plucking all 4 strings, or 3 strings. The top 3 strings, you're going to pluck all of those. Go. Pluck, 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 and then use your chord grid here to help you out from 40 to 42. Grab your F chord, 3 strings, plunk, add a D minor, plunk, B flat, plunk, C chord, F chord, 2, and then that fermata on the end. When anytime you see a fermata on the last note, that says let that thing ring until your instrument is completely done doing its job, which you should do anyway. But particularly like if you see that notation on a piano piece, they want sustain to go on for a while. They want you just to camp out on the pedal and let that sustain go forever. On guitar, it'll last quite a bit longer than on ukulele. So when you see it on a ukulele notation, you're like 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the ukulele's done talking. This one actually will last about 6 beats. But in any event, make sure you let that go for the long haul. All right, let's go through. We'll play it crazy slow the first time, and then we'll play it one time a little bit closer to speed, and then then you have my phone is going bananas. I think we will ignore all of those. All right, from the top, very slow the first time through, and remember we repeat at measure 32 and come back. Okay, so don't fall asleep when we get there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Plunk, thumb, index, middle, plunk, plunk, D minor, plunk, middle, index, plunk, I'm sorry I blew that, plunk, B flat, plunk, thumb, index, middle, plunk, plunk, slide up, plunk, middle, index, middle, plunk, plunk. Now we're going to do this. Plunk, middle, index, thumb, plunk, plunk, D minor, plunk, middle, index, thumb, plunk, plunk, B flat, plunk, middle, index, thumb, plunk, plunk, slide up, plunk, middle, index, thumb, plunk, plunk, slide up to 5, hold up your middle finger, plunk, 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 Put it down on the second string, plunk, 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 lift it up, plunk, 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 measure 20, put it down, plunk, 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 measure 21, lift it up, plunk, 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 put it down, plunk, 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 page 2, slide it back to 3, middle finger up to the third string, go, plunk, plunk, plunk. Hardest part of the song is get to F and strum. Okay, one melody. 1, 1, 3, oh, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1, oh, strum, strum. 1, 1, 3, oh, B flat. 3, 2, 1, 1, strum. Oh, oh, back to plucking. Pluck, pluck, pluck to the top of the paper. Plum, thumb, index, middle, plum. D minor. Thumb, index, middle. B flat. Slide up. Measure 9, change the pattern. Middle, index, thumb. B flat. Slide up. Slide up, 5. Just slide back to 3. Glissando. D minor. B flat. C chord. F chord. D minor. B flat. C chord. F. 5, 6, 7, 8. We did it. We did it. How'd we do? Give me a little field report. How are we coming on stuff like this? This is tough stuff, guys. And it's definitely that place where we've been getting you through intro, we're getting you ready to go on to next level type stuff, and it starts to get pretty intense. And sometimes you're like, oh, that was an awful lot. And this piece in particular, I would say, I don't know if it's harder than Scarborough Fair, but it definitely is relentless because it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming. So Melissa says the pacing was okay for her. Any other thoughts on that? Has anybody did I put anybody else underwater? And it's fine to admit that you were underwater, right? That's absolutely fine. You are in the intro class. It is okay to say, this is really hard. And as I say, guys, we're not messing around at this point. This is real legit music. This is probably 5% at best of ukulele players will ever get to this level. I have watched lots and lots and lots of videos of people teaching ukulele who can't play this stuff, right? And so just know if you are struggling, that would make sense. But if you're not struggling, that's a pretty good sign. It's like, good for you, right? I mean, honestly. Melissa says, all right. She likes the pacing. Nancy says, had to use GPS to find you a few. Probably. And that's what we talk about on Monday nights is that, hey, you're going to get lost, right? The problem that we have as newer players is we want to fix the mess we're making. And sometimes it's like, you can't go back and fix it. You got to keep moving forward. And so on Monday nights, we do that. It's sort of painful. People usually have fun doing it because they know that's the purpose of it. But talking yourself into being like, well, that blew that, moving right on along. That helps you not get so lost, but it's definitely an acquired skill, Nancy. And I think all of us, to some extent, have to talk ourselves out of letting that happen. Let's see. And GPS, wouldn't that be nice if we had musical GPS? That'd be great. Club. Oh, Melissa, that's not true. Find that my thumb isn't always positioned right as I move up the fretboard. Oh, yeah. All right. That's beginning to feel like I may get this with time. You will get it with time. You hang out with me, I'll get it to you. Let's talk about thumb. That's a fascinating thing because I've only taken one private ukulele lesson ever, I think. Yeah, I've only taken one, and it was back when I was very first starting, and I was okay because I had a ton of piano background, so I knew the theory on here. I just didn't know the technique, and I was playing something, and my thumb, of course, I leave my thumb planted, and I'm way down here, and I remember Aaron saying, "What's your thumb doing?" And I looked down, and I'm like, is this bad? And it's because I was so busy thinking about getting these fingers on that the idea of pulling my thumb up along with it didn't even occur to me. You make your life way harder if you end up with your thumb this down here and your fingers up here, right? So if you're trying to do a 5 and a 7, but your thumb is way back here, this is never ever going to serve you. So yeah, try to remember. We talk about it. We talk about it on day one, and then we talk about it every day after that. Your thumb really does follow right wherever your middle finger is. That's where your thumb should be. If you're getting like this thing, it's not going to go well. You're going to have your tone's going to go down. You're going to be struggling to get your bars on correctly. And so just make sure that your thumb is a part of your hand and that they stay together. And really, there aren't any exceptions to that. Your thumb was always going to be hiding out behind here, and it's always going to be behind the middle finger. And I don't think there's any exceptions to that. So great noticing that too. And I think that's sometimes when you're not in the room with me, I can't really tell what's going on with your hand. But if you're aware of that, that's the key, right? Let's see, Jim. Hey, Jim, what is that? I like it not getting the best sound with bar chords. Yeah, I would say when it comes to bar chords, you got to be patient with yourself. This is if you just play Over the Rainbow. Where over the rainbow, way. What's the next word? Way up high. If you just play that, you're never going to need a bar chord. You're fine, but you have magically limited yourself to a very small group of songs. Not that they're bad, they're awesome to play, but you really, in order to play everything that we're going to be playing, that bar chord stuff, it is going to be necessary. And I always tell everybody the same thing. Just be patient. You're building up this muscle strength in your hand right here. And until then, you're probably gonna have a lot of that kind of stuff going on. It does go away. You will get, but again, it's not something that's automatic. And even now, after years of this, there, of course, I would way rather play that C chord, but this one takes a lot more work. But boy, once you get it, you're like, yeah, I can play anything, sort of thing. So yeah, the initially at least, getting your tone on. Some days are better than others. Some situations are better than others. If you're at home and you're playing this, you're probably gonna have pretty good tone. It's when you come and hang out with me and you got to be on time that your tone goes way down. Bridget says, "I think I'll be camping out in this." That's fine. That's fine. Marcia's taken it 9 times. She's my number one person. I always use her as the example. 9 times she took it. She was fine after the first one, but she just liked taking the class, so she took it 9 times. Thumb will hurt. Right now, I can't reach for the pinky on 5. I have to reposition or ouch. So what she's talking about here, you got this G chord, and you got to get your pinky up here. Not too hard on a soprano, but most of you should not be playing a soprano. It's real easy, right? But when you're on a tenor and you got to reach way down here, way out there, that also doesn't necessarily always go so well in the beginning. And so that's where we talk about it often. That exercise right there, when you're not playing ukulele, you're just sitting around in your life watching TV or whatever. Do this, do this, do this, do this. The thumb one's the only one that's easy. All the others are pretty challenging. This, honestly, try not to move these 3 fingers and just move that 1 finger, and you'll see. It's like, what in the heck? Why isn't that easy? And then you remember from the 70s, Mr. Spock, okay? And then by far the one that, as ukulele players, this is the one that's going to be the most important to you, because we've got to get that pinky where he's willing to go do the work he needs to get done. He's a very busy little fella when you're playing ukulele, and he's got to be willing to leave his home planet, which is right next to the ring finger, and go off and do some work. And so those 2 fingers there, they really want to hang out together. So doing Mr. Spock is important, but doing whatever this is also important. And it'll come, guys. And especially those of you guys that are my age and older, where we're starting to get a little arthritis in our fingers and getting knuckles that are sort of interesting looking, getting fingers that are starting to do this little weird thing that they do. It is harder. It's much harder. And so just know that it's good for you, right? Because we keep moving these fingers and just keep them moving so they don't continue to lock up tighter and tighter. But it is going to take you a little bit longer, and you may not necessarily have as beautiful of results as you want. But I do think that is the reason to do it, is that not because it's you don't do it because you're going to sound beautiful. You're going to do it because you want to sound beautiful. And so if you get this, and Gary said eventually it's going to sound like that, I have to have faith. I'm 20 years old. And I'm strong. It happened sooner. I'm 70 years old. I got crazy fingers. I got my knuckles are all doing stuff. It may never sound as, I may always have a little bit of weirdness to it, but I may not. And the only way I'm going to know if I can actually get it clean and pretty and perfect every time is to do it. And so there's all of that stuff. It plays a role. Patience with yourself. We are not competing against one another. There's no finish line in music. There's always something where we got a North Star out there. Jake Shimabukuro is our North Star. We want to play just like that guy, right? And so we move in that direction. Or Aldrin Guerrero, who runs a Ukulele Underground. We want to shoot in his direction. Or you want to get to where your friend who lives down the street, they can play whatever, and you want to be able to do that. And so we find our North Stars and we kind of move in that direction. Patience with yourself when in getting there. Okay. All right. Let's play this one last time, and then we're out of here. Hopefully that little pep talk it meant something to somebody. Works for me. I'm gonna follow my own pep talk. All right. Before I cut you out though, let's make sure we know what tomorrow's gonna look like. We have basically a normal week this week. Tomorrow we're going to be playing Aloha Oi, and again, guys, I don't sing Hawaiian. I don't have any idea how you're really supposed to pronounce that. I have been told it's Aloha A, but it always looks like like aloha oi to me, and Hawaiian is a very phonetic language, so I think that it's more than just a, but I don't know. Um, I actually have a friend who speaks Hawaiian Pele. She comes to classes on a regular basis, and I'm sure she's told me how to pronounce it, but it hasn't sunk in yet. So, but tomorrow, that's a real legitimate ukulele tune written by a real legitimate Hawaiian queen, almost certainly on a ukulele. She was a big ukulele fan, and frankly, it's why we play ukulele today. Is she took a love for this, and because she was the queen, other people followed suit, and this instrument did not fall into obscurity because of her. And so we're going to play that song tomorrow. Thursday, Scarborough Fair. Everybody wants to be able to play Scarborough Fair. It is hard, and it is 17th century. So that's when I talk about wanting to teach you guys how to play 17th century style. That's the perfect wrap up to that joke. And so we'll work on that. And then, of course, Friday we have our concert. So we had a lot of good stuff going on here. I just want to, Lynn says, I'd just be fine if it, when I was playing a song and it sounded like the song. You'll get there. You are there already. Remember, that's why I talk about playing melody all the time. Melody is much easier to, this song is hard that we're working on today. But if you just play, you know what's going on, and so the more you guys play the melody line, one, it helps your tough uke line playing, but it also just helps people know what song you're playing. I remember when I first started, there were no books back then, and so I would take old Tin Pan Alley sheet music and I'd strum through the chords on there. If you knew Susie like I know Susie, but I wouldn't sing because I was a terrible singer, and I remember thinking I could be playing anything. Nobody would know at all what I'm playing. All right, from the top, not much faster than we did before, maybe a tiny bit faster, not a ton faster, all the way top to bottom, and then we're done for the day. 1, 2, 3, 4. 20. 24. To the top. Measure 5. measure 20. Four. There we go. That's advanced level playing for the vast majority of the ukulele world. Okay. So you should know if any of that is going well for you, pat yourself on the back. Good job. Good job. If it's all a mess, right, then obviously we start again next week. And so you'll be fine. All right. I hope you had a wonderful day. We'll see all of you guys tomorrow or later on in the day. We're playing If You Knew Susie, like I Know Susie, done in the next class. I just finished up cleaning up the arrangement this morning, and I changed a lot of stuff in it, so I probably can't play it myself. And I will see all of you guys tomorrow or later today. And be safe, especially Nancy, Bridget. Don't trust anybody in your neighborhood anymore. Do good. Keep practicing. Keep showing up. I promise this works. I promise you'll be proud of where you get to. And good to see all of you guys. Have a wonderful day. James, delighted you were able to join us today. That's very exciting. Evelyn, Lynn, Nancy, Melissa. Measure 29 throws me for measure 29. What's 29? Really? 1130. It's because you're coming out of those C7s, and you got to remember, move your finger up one. And that's fun. And it's interesting. There's always something that you're like, I don't understand why that's being a pain. You'll get it. All right, Bridget. See you good. Donna, I'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a great afternoon, and off we go. Have a good day.